I'm back to do a video I've never done before, and that is disappointing reads in 2022. I haven't got too many, but I did want to sit down and talk you through the books that just weren't it for me this year. Some of them are hyped, some of them not so much, but I thought I would just sit down and talk you through the books. I'm going to start at the top of my reading year, so January through to current time. So the first book that I found disappointing was The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I had heard really good things about this. I read this book at the start of the year and I just don't understand the hype. I really like the premise of it, of these elderly people in a care home trying to investigate an old, like, cold case, which is why they're called the Thursday Murder Club. I'll quickly read you the blurb. In a peaceful retirement village, 4 unlikely friends meet up once a week to investigate unsolved murders. But when the brutal killing takes place on their very doorstep, the Thursday Murder Club find themselves in the middle of their first live case. Elizabeth, Joyce, Ibrahim and Ron might be pushing 80, but they still have a few tricks up their sleeves. Can our unorthodox but brilliant gang catch the killer before it's too late? I thought it sounded like a really nice, cosy read, reading about these pensioners investigating and getting involved with, like, the police and trying to solve this crime. But it was just so different from that. It was what the blurb is. However, it just went too far. There were too many different characters. You're obviously working with your main 4. Then you've got the police. You've got the person that was killed. And it was just too much. I couldn't keep up with it. Maybe I'm just thick. But I read it with a friend and we both just didn't get on with it. For some reason I gave it a 3-star. I would drop that to like a 1.5, maybe a 2. It wasn't written awfully. I just, towards the end I was like, I don't really care. So that's my first disappointing read of 2022. The next one is not necessarily disappointing, and I'm a little bit hesitant to put my phone up for this one. It's just, I feel like American booktubers are so extravagant with their feelings about books. When they're like, I would die for these characters. And I'm like, okay, like, they're just so extravagant and over the top that you then go into these books that they're recommended. Not maybe like the book talk books. You go into these books expecting it to be a certain way, and then you read it and you're like, is that it? Like, that was what the hype was for. Addicted to You by Becca and Krista Ritchie. Or Krista and Becca Ritchie, I should say. This is a massive, massive series. So these books are intertwined with 2 different series. So you've got the Addicted series and then you have the Calloway series. If you watch American BookTube, you would have heard about these. If you don't, you won't know the hype around these books, okay? The strapline is 2 best friends, liars, lovers, addicts. One epic love story. I've read 2.5 of these books. I started to read book 3 and I put it down and I haven't gone back to it yet. And it's basically about Lily and Lauren. Lo's a boy. And Lo is an alcoholic and Lily is a sex addict. And there we have an issue with me. Shall I read the blurb? May as well. Fans of Gossip Girl, Friends and Euphoria will devour this edgy new adult romance set in a world of lust, fame and swoon-worthy men and friendships that run deeper than blood. She's addicted to sex, he's addicted to booze. The only way out is rock bottom. No one would suspect shy Lily Calloway's biggest secret. While everyone is dancing at college bars, Lily stays in the bathroom to get laid. Her compulsion leads to one-night stands, steamy hookups and events she shamefully regrets. The only person who knows her secret happens to have one of his own. Lauren Hale. Lauren Hale's best friend is his bottle of bourbon. Lily comes a close second. For 3 years they pretended to be in a real relationship, hiding their addictions from their families. They've mastered the art of concealing flasks and random guys that filter in and out of their apartment. But as they sink beneath the weight of their addictions, they cling harder to the destructive relationship, wonder if life together for real is better than a lie. That's the premise of the book, and it's a massive book series. So Lily has loads of sisters, and each sister in the Calloway series gets a book. Really bad cough. So that's the premise of the book, and I just found it so unrealistic. Don't get me wrong, I gave it 3 stars. It was okay, but my expectation was here, and it fell here. Listening or reading about a girl that literally cannot shut her legs and how she has to like go to the bathroom and frig herself off, it was just like really it was just so unrealistic. But like I said, I have read book 2. I preferred book 2. I still gave it a 3 star, but they're just really hyped up books. Maybe I'll get to a point where I understand the hype, but currently don't really get it. Is another popular book. It's Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I don't get it. I don't get it. What did I rate this? A 3? I gave it a 3. It was okay. It was an okay book. Evelyn Hugo fucking blew it out the park for me. This, maybe I just don't like music. I didn't really care for like when you like read about the songs. I didn't really care for it. I didn't care about the lyrics. I didn't care about the characters. Do you know who I felt sorry for? Was Billy's wife. Can't fucking remember her name though. Was her name Carmen? I honestly couldn't tell you her name. I wish I loved it. It was fine. I would never recommend it. I'm glad I read it. It was okay. I don't really remember much from it because it literally left no impact on me at all. What can I say about it? I honestly don't know. I've got no words how I feel about this because I feel nothing towards it. The back, if you're not aware, says, everybody knows about Daisy Jones and the Six. From the moment Daisy walked barefoot onto the stage at the Whiskey, she and the band were a sensation. The sound defined an era. Their albums were on every turntable. They sold out arenas from coast to coast. This is the story of their incredible rise, the ambition, the desire, the rivalry and the music. And then on 12th of July 1979, Daisy Jones and the Six split up. Nobody knew why until now. And it's basically written in interview format. I didn't like Daisy as a character. I didn't like any of them really as characters. I've heard that it's a really good audiobook, so maybe if I listened to it in an audio format I would have enjoyed it a lot more, because I know that each of the characters got a different narration voice. Maybe that would have done it for me. I am looking forward to the TV show. It's coming out, I want to say it's on Amazon Prime, because Sam Claflin, who I love, who played Finnick Odair in Hunger Games, he is playing Billy Dunn in the show, and I think it will probably come across better on a TV show, if I'm being perfectly honest. The book just didn't hit for me. Yeah, just not the one. I've read quite a few Taylor Jenkins Reid, but this one is my least favourite. I really hope you can't hear someone cutting their grass or cutting down a tree, or God knows what they're doing out there. But this is the only time I have to film because Florence finishes nursery and I just need to get this video done. Next book that I was disappointed in is Alice Oseman's I Was Born for This. Again, I just didn't really like it. It was another musical book. I gave it 2 stars. For Angel Rahimi, life is only about one thing, the Ark, a pop rock trio of teenage boys who are currently taking the world by storm. Being part of the Ark's fandom has given her everything, her friendships, her dreams, her place in the world. Jimmy Ritchie owes everything to the Ark too. He's their front man, and playing in a band is all he's ever dreamed of doing. It's just a shame that recently everything in his life seems to have turned into a bit of a nightmare. Because that's the problem with dreaming. Eventually, inevitably, real life arrives with a wake-up call. Why? And when Angel and Jimmy are unexpectedly thrust together, they will discover just how strange and surprising facing up to reality can be. I just feel like this book fell flat. Nothing happened. Like, it was such a build-up, and then I just didn't like it. Nothing really happened in it. There was no, like, romance, which I wasn't expecting anyway. It deals with a lot of emotions in the book. It deals with self-harm, sexuality, racism, and all these heavy topics, suicidal thoughts, but I didn't really like the characters, so the story just fell flat. I didn't really like the story. It just wasn't for me. So that was a 2-star read, and I just didn't like it. I'm now going to go on to a little bit of a Kindle Unlimited book section rant. Next one is Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. What's the blurb of this one? College romance. For years I've dreamt of what college life could bring. While some things changed, there was always one constant. It didn't matter how wild I allowed my imagination to run, it always led me to the same place in the end. It led me to him. My future was clear and he was it. Until suddenly, he wasn't. Now I'm a shell of who I was, on a path too blurry to follow, and I see no way out, no up. They say the first love lasts forever. That's exactly what I'm afraid of. It's basically a love triangle. You have this girl, can't remember her name, and this friendship group. I think it's 5 guys. It's 5 of them. 3 boys, 2 girls. There's a brother sister in the group. The main girl falls for one of these guys. They all go off to college together. They're like American footballers, and these girls that just go to the college there. And then we then get a love triangle from this guy that she's... Who the fuck is this? Amazon has just delivered my parcel. Sorry, as I was saying, he literally just threw the box at my door. So they all go to college, and then there's this other, like, main footballer guy who takes the main character's attention, and it's a love triangle between the 3 of them, right? Fine. Quite like a college romance. The end of this book, I'm going to spoil it for you. Skip ahead a little bit if you don't want it spoiled. What the fuck is the amnesia trope all about? When she, like, forgot everything, I was like, nah, I can't deal with this. I just didn't like it. It just felt completely unnecessary, didn't need to happen. And then obviously at the end everything ties up with a pretty little bow, and I was just like, nah, I'm done. I didn't like it. Not for me. Then I'm going to talk about the worst book I have read this year, and that is The Confidence of Wildflowers by Michaela Smeltzer. Why does everybody like this book? Please comment down below if you've read this and if you liked this, because I don't understand. I don't get it. I haven't read the second one. The blurb. My future is a big what if at the moment, and I'm fine with that, for the most part. When Thea Holmes moves in next door, the grumpy landscaper both fascinates me and amuses me. When he asks me to nanny his kid, it's a great way to make some extra money. It's impossible not to fall in love with Thea and his adorable son. There's a big problem though. I'm 18, he's 31. Falling for someone almost 15 years older, that wasn't part of my plans, but sometimes things happen when you least expect them. I don't mind an age gap romance. However, she was so immature. That just I didn't like it. She was so whingy, and I just didn't like the romance. Didn't really like the grumpy next door neighbour that was very possessive over like his next door neighbour and all of that. I didn't really like that. So we weren't doing too well anyway, but I was just getting through it. And then I'm going to talk about a big spoiler, okay? I'm going to put my hand down once I've finished. When his son dies in the pool and drowns, what the fuck? Why did that have to happen? Okay, I have she's now 7. I have a 7-year-old, right? That boy did not need to die. And what happened at the end of the book? She was fucking pregnant with his child. And I know they in book 2, I haven't even read the blurb. I don't want to know. I just know it's going to end with a happily ever after, and I know they're going to get together. But when they described this 6-year-old boy, because they lost him, and he obviously fell in the pool and he drowned. When they described this 6-year-old's body, how blue and limp and everything about it, 1 star, 0 stars. Don't get it. I don't want to read that. And I've never felt like that before in a book, and it's not good feelings. It just felt completely it felt completely left field. Didn't need to happen. And then you've then got this 18-year-old girl that's trying to like step up and be the support system for this 31-year-old father that has just lost his son. I'm okay. Right, hand is down, spoilers done. Don't recommend it. Don't pick it up. Worst book probably the worst book I've ever read, if I'm being perfectly honest. So that was a disappointing read. And then finally, I'm going to talk about Flock by Kate Stewart. This wasn't disappointing. No, it was disappointing. It was 3-star read for me. I haven't read the blurb. Let me read the blurb. Can you keep a secret? I grew up sick. Let me clarify. I grew up believing that real love stories include matra, I don't know the word, martyr, I don't know, or demand great sacrifice to be worthy. Because of that, I believed it. Because I made myself believe it. I don't even understand what the fuck I'm reading. Literally, this doesn't make sense, and that is how I came away from this book. I don't even know what I'm reading. Because of that, I believed it. Because I made myself believe it. And I bred the most... I can't even read the words. M-A-S-O-C-H-I-S... I can't even read this. Misogistic? Am I thick? Of romantic hearts, which resulted in my illness. She's not even ill. When I lived this story, my own twisted fairy tale, it was unbeknownst to me at the time because I was young and naive. I gave in to temptation and fed the beating beast, which grew thirsty with every slash, every strike, every blow. Triple Falls wasn't at all what it seemed, nor were the men that swept me under their wing, but in order to keep them I had to be in on their secrets. Secrets cost us everything to keep. The novelty of fiction versus reality. I'm not even going to finish reading this because this is my issue with this book. That's a blurb and I have no idea what I've just read. Like, genuinely, I'm so confused at what I've just read. She wasn't ill. She wasn't ill. Why is she saying she's ill? She's ill because she's got a romantic heart. I honestly couldn't even tell you what happened in Flock, okay? And there'll be spoilers for this next section, and this is the last book I've got to talk about. So, there's this girl. She moves to live with her dad. Her dad owns a factory, right? And she needs to earn money. There's like this mysterious guy called Sean, I think that's his name, that works in the factory. And he's like the bad boy, but she's obviously drawn to him. Blah, 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 blah. Then this Sean lives in like his house with some weird people, and they've got like a tattoo of like some sort of like raven thing on them or something. I still don't understand what I read. I don't understand it. I don't know. I don't know what this book was. So she strikes up this relationship with Sean, and then Sean has a brother that's not a brother. It's like a bro sort of thing, I think. He has long hair, can't remember his name. So they have a relationship, her and Sean, but then she has like fantasies about this other guy. Then they have a threesome on some weird little, like, I imagined it as like a pontoon in the middle of a lake. And so she had a relationship with each of the brothers, like one night should stay with one night should stay with the other. It was very, very, very weird. Did not anticipate it to be like that, okay? And then there was it was always like really mysterious of being like, oh, the secret, oh, you can't be on it, oh, it's so dangerous, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then the book ends, and they like cut her out for some reason they have to like cut her out of their lives, and she's like, oh my god, I'm gonna die of my broken heart. Fine. I went straight into book 2 because I was like, I have no idea what I've just read, but I'm gonna continue. Book 2, called Exodus, I'll put it on the screen. What the fuck was that book? What, I literally, so whatever had happened in the development of the first book just got shat over in the second book. Then there's this other brother who was like from France, I think. He came in and got involved in the picture. I don't know what I read. There was always like this really mysterious thing that was going on about something, but I don't know what that thing was. I read the whole book. One of the guys died and got shot by some sort of like people from like Florida, but are they the mafia? I don't know. Can't even remember his name. The guy with long hair, he died. And then Sean went off with someone else. They weren't in a relationship, and then she then got with the other. Honestly, what I've just said does not make sense. If you've read it, I hope that you understand what I mean, in the sense of I have no idea what I read. The books are so confusing. She used like really long words that just didn't need to be used. So I was very disappointed because the book made me feel thick. Maybe I am thick. I like to think that I'm quite smart, but clearly not, because that book just, I would just sit and read it and be like, what have I just read? And I'd read it again, and it just wouldn't go into my head. So that is everything I've read this year that has been disappointing. It hasn't been too bad. I've had a couple, but I thought I'd sit and share them with you. So leave me a comment below. What's been your most disappointing read of 2022? Have you read the ones that I've read? Do you have the same thoughts, or do you feel differently? I'd love to have a chat in the comments about it all. Please let me understand Flock, because I'm not going to read the next one. Just very weird. Very, very weird. But yeah, I think I've had a good reading year, but I'm glad that I had a little rant about those books. Anyway, I'm going to go. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.